What is up, everybody? My name is Andrew, and welcome back to Space Engineers Survival 2025. This is episode number 38, and we start this episode in front of the Fallen Trade Corp base right here that we took over last episode. So the last two episodes we've been on a bit of an assault, a bit of an adventure as we took out the AMG Snowstorm, which this side right here has the correct W here. The other side doesn't have the W because we shot it with our railgun. But we took out the AMG Snowstorm because it was standing in our way, as well as last episode we assaulted this trade HQ right here, which had been unfortunately taken over by some Armageddon pirates. So they had come in here, and I don't know when this happened, but presumably a long time ago, they came in here and they wiped out everyone on the base in a bit of a tragedy. And eventually they took the AMG Snowstorm here and docked it and then stole a couple of its parts. And that's where we are today. So in this episode, the encounter is over now. We've taken over the whole area. Actually, we have not claimed the base for ourselves, so that's probably going to be the first thing that we're going to do. But the rest of this episode is going to be essentially trying to repair some of the Snowstorm, trying to repair the Manta Ray, and I'd like to get this base in kind of a clean shape, in a bit of a better shape, and maybe it can reopen at some point. I don't know if that's going to be in the cards, or maybe we'll just hand it off to, I don't know, some other NPCs and let them kind of take over this thing. But it would be a good idea to maybe lift this lockdown, get some of the turrets back online, but on our side, and maybe leave this place as a bit of a I don't know, like a refueling area, because it's got these hydrogen tanks here. Even though these hydrogen tanks don't actually have any hydrogen in them, it'd be a good idea to keep this as a refueling area. Lots of Clang going on. I need to figure out what's going on with that. But anyways, consider this a bit of a renovation episode because we're going to be going through and fixing things up, maybe removing some of the stuff that this stuff right here that the Armageddon people added, and trying to get this stuff in nice order. So we're going to start by claiming this base real quick, and we did re-add the hostile takeover mod, which adds these highlights right here. We removed it for the encounter, so we didn't just see through the walls at anything that was here. But we're going to go through here and remove, or just grind down some of these things. Okay, sorry about that. I did grind down a person right there. Let me, real quick, I'm gonna keep a tally actually of all the soldiers that we find, and we're going to eventually create a memorial for them because this is a lot of like good soldiers that went down in this fight here. And we'll even create a memorial. I don't know, should we add the red soldiers to our memorial? They kind of are the aggressors here. Maybe not, I don't know. I'll tally them just in case we decide we want to. But let's add an LCD here so I can keep a tally. All right, there we go. There's our tally so far. I just remember we had 2 orange engineers that got destroyed when we used the row 1 last episode, so I put those in here. And then we have a blue soldier that we ground down by accident. I'll tally up the rest of them after this, but let's go and reclaim the base first. And then we'll figure out what's causing this Clang, and we'll go and stop that from doing that. But essentially, all these things that are blinding us, we can either grind down, or we can just do that. I would really like to. Can I just add my stuff directly to there? Yes, I can. Perfect. You know what? I'm not gonna grind down the beds, but I'm gonna at least hack them like this. All right, let's keep moving through. I'm not gonna bother with that door because I know it goes to the other side right here, but the entire base should be clear with no soldiers. Just in case, I do have my weapon on me in case we do need to use it, but I think we should be good. So this, we do need to grind down, even though we had claimed it earlier.
Inventory.
Since we didn't have the mod active, it didn't really count. Okay, so we'll go through here. This one's kind of blocked, but we'll get in there eventually. This one is where they had their little surprise explosion.
Inventory.
We have these back rooms over here, not the back rooms, although that'd be cool to see the back rooms represented in Space Engineers. Maybe that should be, you know what, maybe I'll do like a little, I don't know. So while we're talking about encounters, I do want to give you guys full disclosure. I was the one who created this entire encounter, which I hope it doesn't seem too ingenuine that I kind of went through it, discovering stuff. But the reason I did that is because, first of all, I don't have anyone to create encounters for me. But second of all, I created this at the start of the season. And the whole idea, waiting, half a year to do it, was that I didn't really remember anything that was in here. I didn't remember there were soldiers or who the soldiers were, where they were positioned, what any of the loot was, anything like that. So the idea was that I would create this and then, later down the line, I would, forget everything that was in here. And that did pretty much work. I understood a little bit of the layout or something like that, but I didn't know where turret placements were and stuff like that, or where the soldier placements were. For instance, there was one down here, yeah. But yeah, so pretty much the entire going through it was genuine. I didn't know where the soldiers were going to be, and they did surprise me and stuff like that. I forgot what I put in rooms like this, or turret right there, and right there. I'd forgotten where all that stuff was. So in the future, I don't think I'm gonna do it this way. I think I'm gonna try and find people from the community to help me make encounters like this. And in fact, if any of you are interested in doing that, please join the Discord and maybe we can talk about doing something like that so that in the future, you know, maybe I'll kind of like tell you what we're going for and then you can sort of build out the area, put loot in and stuff like that. Maybe build out a story, add messages and stuff like that. But yeah, that's just for full disclosure. If you want to know who created this base, it was me. It was me a long time ago, but it was me nonetheless. So I hope that doesn't take away from much of the experience. But yeah, let's continue trying to take over this area here. Oh shoot, there's actually a soldier back here. Did you have any? Okay, this soldier had 30 space credits on him. Huh, so I guess this soldier had actually barricaded this stuff. And now I guess after me telling you that I was the one who created this, you're saying, well, you put that soldier there, so how do you not know what he was doing? But again, it was 6 months ago. I don't remember where these dudes were positioned. I didn't remember what they had on them. I didn't remember the messages that they had on them or anything like that. So yeah, but we're gonna make sure we tally all these guys up as well. Is there anything else I need to get on this level? I think there is some stuff back here, so let's go over here and do that. Over here, we have this guy. Way back here, we have, can I scoot back here? Yep, we have this guy, and this guy. And I think with that, the base might be ours. Or maybe there's some stuff that we're still missing. Oh, we are still missing some stuff. You know what? We have to grind down the weapons next.
Inventory full.
All right, there we go. That should be the last turret down. And let's see if we have the base now. So let's go to one of these that I did not hack, which would be like this one. That one is good. Let's go to this one. Let's just go to the control panel. Okay, we do have everything now. So let's go back through here and let's add this back. So there's gonna be our new artillery turret, which now is defending our base. Let's make sure we weld that one up. Let's weld up these guys. Here's another one. And finally, this one, do we have the materials for it? Yes, we do. Awesome. Okay, so we have the turrets over here now. This is all our stuff now, so this is good. We can now start to work on getting this back in working order. So we can open this as well. This is gonna be actually 2 doors, it looks like. So let's open that. All right, the Prototech jump drive. We're going to have to move this onto the ship, I think. And some of you guys said, a lot of you guys said actually that you'd rather that I build up the Snowstorm and take that than the Manta Ray. And I guess that makes sense actually. The Snowstorm is a more capable ship. It's got those mini ships. It would honestly be a better one to use. So I think maybe we'll end up doing that. But we are gonna keep the Manta Ray then here at this base, docked up somewhere. We might even make a little dock for it. And then in the future, if we come back here with the Snowstorm and we decide to swap out to the Manta Ray, we can always do that and that wouldn't be a problem. You know what? I think we might just be stuck with clang noises. Oh, hey, this thing turned on. Very nice. Okay, there's our Prototech gyro that we're gonna have to move at some point. But yeah, okay. Let's, what do we wanna do now? We now have the base, which is good. The base is under our control. So it's time to start kind of working on the, I think we probably wanna get the Snowstorm's weapons back up and running. So this guy, first of all, can immediately be moved, because this is just straight up a turret, all right? So we can move this to like this, for instance, and that's not everything that we need, but let's right click that and see if the base has it on it. The base is connected to the Snowstorm, so we should be able to find a lot of our components that way. So I'd like to get all these weapons up and running again so that the Snowstorm will be workable, essentially. Go ahead and remove this stuff that they had added.
Full.
That's gone forever. Oh, hey, autocannons, very nice. We have, well, that one's freaking out. But we do have autocannons, that's good. Oh, you know what? This could be what's causing a lot of the clang, actually. We have one of these little dudes that took off from our ship. This thing never attacked us, which was very nice of it. I'm just gonna go ahead and deconstruct it. Oh my lord. Okay, note to self, take the ammo out before you deconstruct it.
Energy low.
Here we go, we have this back up and running, that's good. What are you shooting at? Oh, it just shot another one of those out of the sky. There we go, there's the artillery turret. I'm actually gonna remove that guy right there and replace it with one of our favorite little refill stations. The refill stations didn't exist. Oh, refill station. They didn't exist when we built the AMG Snowstorm. They were kind of a relatively recent addition to the game. I don't know if we're gonna have enough stuff for this, but we're gonna try. Yeah, we don't have the superconductors. I bet you I can find them on the base somewhere. Or it's possible even the manta ray has some superconductors. Hi, manta ray. Do you have superconductors by any chance? Remember if you brought any along. You did. Oh, you brought a lot of superconductors, didn't you? Yeah. Now I remember. We brought so many superconductors because we were deconstructing them inside the manta ray. Okay, let's go over here, and we're gonna add a bit of a refill station here. Boom, there's a refill station. If you're wondering what that beep 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 is, that is the AMG Snowstorm trying to launch the ships, I'm pretty sure. There's a sensor that's added here somewhere. All right, there we go. We love refill stations. Refill stations are the best stations. Why did I do this? Way back when I was making the AMG Snowstorm, we added a door right here so we could have quick access to this level, but there's a hole right there. Does this still pressurize even with that hole? If it does, that's wild. Yeah, we're gonna have to do some fixing right here. This, for instance, I would love to get fixed if I can. Ow, oh my God. Okay, something's gotta give for these gravity generators. Gravity generator, I need you to like turn off, please. I don't know which this is the gravity generator for this thing. I need this one to, no. Let's turn this one off for now so that we only have a gravity gen of 1G. Otherwise, we're just gonna hurt ourselves every time we go somewhere. I actually like the placement of that. Maybe I'll keep it. Let's go ahead and add this right here. There we go. That is now our turret, which means if someone ever tries to come in here, like that red guy who stole our ship at the start of this series, if he ever comes in here, one of our turrets will handle him. I think previously we didn't really have any turrets, did we? Okay, there's our main helm. Very nice. Okay, so for fixing this, let's start with maybe getting a couple steel. Actually, this doesn't need any, it just needs to be reformed. So let's go ahead and reform this. And what I want to do is add back my thruster that was back here. And actually, I think if I add back the thruster, that will reform it. These right here are gonna be a pain. Okay, well. Oh, hey, hi, turret. How you doing? Oh, by the way, actually, for the AMG Snowstorm, if you didn't watch the last series, you probably got a good idea of what's in the Snowstorm based on what we, us taking it over and stuff like that. But I guess I should give you a really quick rundown of the Snowstorm before we go and repair it. So this right here is the engine room. If you didn't gather that, this is the little engine area where we have our giant reactor right there. We also have our big engines in the back, our big thrusters. We also have a refinery in here, which contains yield modules apparently. 3 yield modules, not the 4th one because we need that for a little entrance there. So we have a refinery. We've also got our hydrogen, our main hydrogen storage is back here as well, and our these guys, our gyroscopes. That's this back area right here. Going inside here, we have our little habitation area, which is just simply 2 rooms that you can use for habitation. Just little bedrooms, sort of. We'll go ahead and rebuild that bed right there. I don't know if we have another one. As well as a little window where you can see some of the downward facing thrusters. We did build this on Pertam, which has a 1.25 gravity instead of the usual 1 gravity on the Earth-like planet, so we needed a lot of downward facing thrusters. So we definitely a bunch of them in here. We've got this other room as well. These go to a tiny little back room, which is not pressurized, and it's got little Willis ducts that connect all the way to the back area right here. So little Willis ducts that you can use to sneak around the ship. We didn't really use them in this series, in the encounter, which we probably should have, come to think of it. But anyway, yeah, that's the little habitation area. This goes out into the medroom area, which has a couple of things right there. This goes to the hangar essentially, and this goes up to the front area. So this right here, that's just the front entrance of the ship. And then down here goes to our little extension that we added in order to have those Prototech gyros added right there. So going forward to the hangar of the ship, what you have is this little thing which goes out to the hangar where you have 1 ship connection right there, as well as a giant door. And then up here you have a bunch of ship connections that can also lock right there. And then on the sides you got some stairs which go up. We can take either one of these. So if we take the rightmost one here, that's gonna bring us up to this side. So this brings us into our little disco room. Very nice. Okay, and the disco room right here brings us into our 2nd cockpit, which we have all the way back here. Okay, that's our little 2nd cockpit where you have a bunch of other little control areas. Okay, moving backward from the ship, we have a 2nd habitation area. So this has a couple of rooms in here, stuff like that right there. This one has a 2nd story. We did go up here during the encounter. That's got the Coffini base right there. And then moving all the way back, we have the med room over here, which we spent a little bit of time at huddled while the soldiers tried to attack us. Go ahead and remove that and put that in there. Perfect. Going over, actually going this way from the med room, we have just kind of a middle area where you have a nice little view of the hangar deck right there. And then moving back over here, we have a little conference room. Moving over from this side, we have another little seating area. Then we have the top hangar area over here. This right here goes back to one of these. No, this down here goes back to the engine room. And then the final area that we have is essentially if you were to continue going up those stairs. So let's take these stairs and go up another level. This will bring us to the top area here, which has just kind of a nice view. And then over here we have our little autonomous drone creation area, which you can see one of our drones who's a little bit stuck right there. But yeah, that's the AMG Snowstorm, everybody. Just in case you didn't see the last series, there's your little tour. So now we're gonna get to repairing this thing. So let's continue at the back of the ship over here, trying to get some of these thrusters built up. So make sure that these are built and these as well. All right, unfortunately it's gonna take a little bit of time to get all this stuff here, but I'm trying to fit everything we need around this. And actually, you know what? Maybe a refill station in here wouldn't be bad. We have a T intersection right there. Where could we put it though? That's the tricky part, right? I bet we could find a spot. I could put it up there. That wouldn't be horrible. Or down here. We really don't have much going on down here, do we? All right, all we need is the superconductor. So let's fly on over here. And remember, we have 1 billion superconductors. Actually, maybe it'd be a good idea to connect this to the base. I would like to eventually build some sort of little area for that, but maybe that'll take a second. Where was I about to do this? Right there. Okay, so a nice little refill station to allow us to refill our stuff. We're gonna need a med bay at some point because we only have 50 health at the moment. But let's go ahead and remove this while we are right here with it, so it stops producing that kind of pink glow. And let's add that stuff to there. Actually, you know what I think I want to do? Before we move on to anything else, let's go around and do the memorial thing, because I think that's something that probably we should do first. Once we do that, we can find an area to connect the manta ray. So the obvious area would be here. We have all these connectors, but the Snowstorm is taking up pretty much all this space. If you look how big the Snowstorm is, it really does take up all that. So the other area we could do is potentially back here, although this is definitely made for like smaller ships. So it might be a little tough to fit that in. But let's start keeping a tally. We're gonna remove the fallen soldiers here, and let's start tallying them up on here. So this right here is 1. Here's another one. Here's a 3rd. There's a 4th, and there's no more over there. So we found 4 just in this front area, so I'll add that to our tally here real quick. So 1 goes to 5, there we go. Let's keep counting here. Okay, so all these soldiers wanna take all their stuff, and then we'll add them to our count. Let's add 3 more right here on the blue counter. And please let me know if I count wrong, by the way. If I removed one that I didn't account for here in the last episode, for instance, if I blew something up and there was a soldier there, let me know if I need to affect the counter. So this one has been accounted for already. I can probably add some of the beds back in as well. Okay, moving inside this jail cell looking thing, we do have a soldier over here. That's gonna be 1 for that. And then we have a gray soldier back here with some stone on him. That's gonna be 1 for the gray. We'll count 1 for the red as well. Although again, I don't know if the red will be included in our memorial since they were the aggressors here, but let me know if I should add the red. I'll add 1 red engineer. Down the main area, we're gonna add 1 more to red here, and then we're gonna add 2 more to blue. And while we're in here, I'm gonna add some stuff to the armory, so I have all this stuff here. Moving downstairs, this is where we have a bunch of gray. So we're gonna take the space credits off of them, and then we're gonna add 1 to gray. We're gonna add 2 to gray. We'll add 3 to gray. 4, 5, and then another 2 to blue and another 1 to red. Then moving up here, we have 1 red, and there was a second one here, I think. I think that one got disappeared. So let's count 1 more to red and 2 more to blue. This is gonna be 1 more for blue right here, and then another one here for blue as well. And then another 2 for red as well that got caught by the surprise. And make that a 3rd for blue, actually. Check this room. Yeah, I don't think there's anything in this room right here. And then over here, we have 2 blue, 2 red, and then 2 more blue. So that's 4 blue and 2 red. All right, I believe the only ones we're missing now are gonna be the guys back here, which are all the orange guys. And we've already accounted for 2 that we accidentally blew up with the row 1 when we were attacking this thing. So that's 1 orange right here, This is another one. I guess they're more in a yellow suit than orange. Here's number 3 and number 4. And number 5, 6, 7. Oh, I missed this one, so this should be number 8. Number 9 over here. And number 10. I believe that's 10. Here's 11. And is that all of them? Oh, wait, number 12 right here. Okay, I think that's everybody. So we'll go over here and add to the tally right here of 12 more orange engineers. That counts for 14 total. All right, here's our final tally. So in this encounter, essentially before I arrived, before I did anything, I didn't account for the red engineers that I took out myself. But before I arrived, 22 blue soldiers were down, 6 gray engineers were down, 14 orange engineers were down, and 8 red engineers were down. And so when we make our memorial, we're going to use these values. So the blue soldiers were definitely the soldiers defending the base here. These were the ones that were manning the check-in area right here. They had weapons on them. All of them had some sort of weapon. The gray engineers had no weapons. They usually had money and maybe a soda. So these were civilians. The orange engineers had pretty much all welders. Some of them had some of these bottles here, some of these hydrogen bottles like this. So these were engineers, you know, kind of working on the stuff back there. And then the red engineers were the aggressors, of course. So yeah, I think we're gonna do our memorial over in this area. Why do I have a very bright red light over here? What is that? I don't know what you are. Oh, you know what? That's probably because the code room is back there. By the way, the code room, I talked about how I made this world, or this encounter here. I made the entire world, as I do for most of my series. But the code room here was supposed to work, of course. But I think probably what happened is for some reason the code needed to be rerun. I don't know which one has the code in it. Is it this one? Oh, it's this one. Okay, well, first try, I guess. Let's go ahead and recompile. So if I recompile that, this probably does work. So if I do 3, yeah, there, it's now working. 3002, system offline, stopping system, and then system offline. So now all the turrets would be turned off. So this one right here, for instance, well, it still says power on, but that's probably because it's at a state that won't work. So yeah, that didn't work as intended. Let me sit down here real quick and grab a little bit of stuff. And actually our oxygen is getting a little bit low, so we need to address that by going to the manta ray and grabbing some stuff. But what I think I'm gonna do, essentially, I tested this world a little bit when I first created it, but I didn't fully do the encounter because, again, I built this encounter and the idea was to like immediately start forgetting about what was here and try and like, you know, so when I came here I was, you know, somewhat fresh. Like I'd know a little bit of the layout, but like I wouldn't know turret right there, turret right there. I wouldn't know door. I wouldn't know where this led and stuff like that. So I didn't fully run a ship in here and test out clearing the entire encounter. Now that I've done that, what I think I'm gonna do is upload a updated version of the world. So if you're playing on this world, then I will post that so you can do an updated version where hopefully everything works as intended. With that said, currently there's no other additional encounter in this world. These were the only 2 encounters. There was the crash ship on the planet, and there was this. And I think probably it'd be a good idea to have another encounter, so I might try and write one. But again, I don't want to be the one to actually create the encounter, so you know, just forgetting about it is not enough. I'd love to have an encounter that I genuinely do not know anything about. And so I'll be looking maybe for someone to try and help with building that or something like that. I might try and work in some of the story elements with the Armageddon faction. But other than that, I'd like to go in kind of completely blind about what to expect or anything like that. So yeah, again, if you're interested in doing something like that, please post down in the comments below or join the Discord and maybe we can work something out where I'll build like a shell of a base, or maybe I'll just tell you where to put it, or maybe I'll just even give you the world and tell you, hey, put a base here. and then we can kind of work that out. And you can like write all the notes and like, you know, if you want to add some if you want to inject some interesting storylines, like with I don't remember what I was thinking, but with the gray engineer here, I think the idea was that he was trying to escape, and so he had a little bit of stone from trying to dig out, but I don't remember what I was thinking back then. If you'd like to do something like that, though, that'd be interesting, right? Adding some interesting little bits. But anyway, yeah, that's just for the future. Maybe even for another series, maybe not even for this series if we are just exploring. But I'd love to get something like that set up where I can just kind of ask you guys, hey, you want to build a base? And then you just plop one in and then I can explore it. I think that'd be kind of cool. But anyway, I need to get back to the ship to grab some oxygen or I'm gonna die here. All right, Manta Ray, I need a little bit of your stuff here. Oops, that's not what I'm looking for. Need a little bit of this stuff, and then I need to refill our oxygen tanks, otherwise we're going to decease. I don't want to decease. All right, we're nice and filled up with oxygen. Very good, let's move on into this area. So we wanna work on a little bit of a memorial, and I'm thinking over here is gonna be the best area. Let's go ahead and remove this assault cannon turret and put it back. I think it was probably there. Actually, let's put this stuff back here real quick. I'd like to remove this so we have a little bit of room. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was there. Let me check the other side to see if that is where it was, because I think we duplicated this on both sides. Yeah, so we did have an assault cannon turret right there. Which means let's put it right back over here. Actually, I'd like to get this built up real quick before we do anything. Alrighty, assault cannon turret. Let's go ahead and plop that right there. If it allows me, it's going to require some steel plates, which is okay. I can maybe go and grab some from over here. Perfect. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and build this up if we can. So I'm going to try and put everything back in here. And then we'll grind down some of the stuff over here. Make sure we don't grind down the prototech thing.
Inventory full.
Because that is going to be hard to rebuild. All right, and there we go. There's our assault cannon turret back up and running, and that clears out a little bit of space over here for us to build this memorial. So this is all light armor. Yep, okay, so we're going to need a bunch of steel plates for this. And I'm just going to think about doing it on this wall here, maybe. Because I think that'd be a nice area. So I think something just in this area right here. Let's build up a couple of these blocks. And of course, I'm gonna go through and repaint the entire base here as well, just to give it, you know, get rid of this war-torn look here. Because, I mean, it has been war-torn, but now we've reclaimed it, which means hopefully we can restore it to its former glory and give it a fresh coat of pretty much everything. For now, at least, maybe I can go through and repaint a little bit of this area. Maybe give it this nice coat of paint here. Let me repaint the wall. Still like this, actually. I think this is what we're gonna do. Let's grab a couple of LCD stuff. And again, we're out of computers and stuff like that, so we'll have to make some. Or find some down below. We did have a lot of materials down there that we can maybe use. I'm gonna move the manta ray a little bit closer because it does have most of our materials on it. So let's hop in the manta ray and just move it kind of up here. Very low on hydrogen with the manta ray, unfortunately. Actually, you know what? We'll even position it like this, so that it's easier to get to those materials because they are kind of in the back. Okay, so there's our manta ray. And in fact, if we do need to grab some stone, we do also have the Speevel right there. Okay, let me grab some computers because we definitely brought them. Let's go up here and do this. All right, this is a start, although the clanging noises don't help. Where? Here? This is like the hunt for Clang. I don't know where it is. All right, I think I found the problem. I went through the entity list and destroyed basically floating objects, and there was a bunch of scrap metal that was somewhere. I don't know exactly where it was, but it was on this base clanging out and causing a lot of ruckus, probably because the artificial gravity is 2.0. So yeah, we finally dealt with that, and we have some peace and quiet, finally. This could be a good place to use the anniversary statue. I don't know, what do you guys think? Does it fit here? It could be like the entrance block, like it's right there, and then you kind of walk in here and you're in the memorial section of the base. All right, I think this is a big enough area, and we can have this right here. I'm gonna make this the same paint color. Okay, and then I would like to remove a little bit of this stone here so that we get at least 2 blocks on this side as well, up to there. But I don't have my drill, so let me see if I have another drill on here. Drill. I do actually have a full another drill, like a proper another drill. Okay, I didn't expect that. I didn't know if I brought any. But I guess I did bring another one. So let's bring this over here. And we now have our drill back. Very good. Okay, so let's go ahead and right click this. Try and get a little bit of this gone. I'm gonna need to get a little bit more of this steel plates right here for this. But I think this is pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna put another layer down here. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna do half blocks so I can be a little bit more frugal. So let's go here and grab the light armor slopes. 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. Oh my gosh. Man, I had someone in my Discord say that they wanted to play on a planet with 3 gravity.
Energy.
Look at how difficult 2 gravity is. Like, look how fast I fall with 2 gravity. Ow! Oh my god, that was painful. Now, can you imagine 3 gravity? That would be insane. The most I've ever played on was Pertam with the 1.25 gravity. So, to that viewer who wants to do 3 gravity, I wish you luck. You're stronger than me, for sure. Okay, let's go ahead and right-click mine this out a little bit. There we go. I'm kind of liking how we have this set up. 1, 2, 3. Do something like that. Put a block there, a block there, and a block there, and a block there. Okay, so this is the idea. Since we have 3 factions that were, well, factions. I mean, I've separated them into soldiers, engineers, and, or soldiers, I guess, civilians and engineers. Then I will put them like this, I think. So there we go. We've got our soldiers right there. We've got our engineers right there. And in the middle, we have the civilians who are lost. And we will have them listed here. Now, unfortunately, they don't have names. They're just engineer 1 through 22. Or I guess they would have had names, but you know, they don't have dog tags on them. So we're just gonna list them like this. And in fact, this blue, I think we're gonna go in here and we're gonna lower the value a little bit. We're gonna lower the saturation rather and increase the value, so that it's less of a bright blue and more of like a, it's still a little bright for me. And so this sort of has kind of a meaning, like the civilians who were on the base were protected by the soldiers on the left and the engineers on the right. The engineers were working to keep them safe and the soldiers were fighting to keep them safe. And then we have the civilians in the middle. So that's just kind of the idea that I have going here. And we have the 2 engineers here as well, which maybe I can give them a, I don't know, does this take a color? I guess the pedestal takes a color. So what I'll do is I'll find a brown. So let's take this and let's go to a brown here. There we go. There's a nice brown. We're gonna run over to our wood armor and we're gonna do it like that right there. So we have a nice wood texture right there. And then the bottom right here is gonna be wood as well, I think. Okay, so let's get our LCDs in here. All right, everybody, here we are. 22 soldiers laid down their lives to defend the defenseless. 6 civilians lost their lives in this senseless attack, and 14 engineers fell, keeping the station running and the ships moving. And we have our in memoriam message right there. I don't know if I'm gonna keep this here. Maybe I want to move this. I don't know. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below about this memorial. It definitely needs something, but I'm not sure what. Maybe some seating or something like that. Maybe let me know what you guys think about it and what we can add here. We got a little bit of lighting at least. I feel like this guy probably needs a spotlight on him or something. But there we go. At least we have this memorial here, dedicating a little section of this station to those who are lost in the battle, or in the attack, I guess it is. All right, let's move on to the next thing. Light armor, light armor. So this is heavy armor on the front, but this is all light armor, which means what I might do is build this up a little bit so that we have this basically back up where it was. And this will give us a little bit of our port back, because this is essentially the port that it had. It had this little port for ships to connect to. And it had a bunch of connections, but again, the AMG Snowstorm is really just taking up all those connections right there. I'm gonna fill this back up. Oh, we have a floating block there. Turn our flashlight as well so we can see what's going on. And eventually we'll get this up in working order. Are we just adding a bunch of blocks here that we're eventually gonna have to fix up that we're never gonna get to? Maybe. But maybe not. Let's see, we'll have this come all the way back here, so we have a little bit more room. Maybe remove this, bring this all the way back. I think what I'll do here as well is I'll throw a railing in here just to kind of separate this area. And I think that'll look pretty good. And then this shouldn't be that hard. We should be able to just get one of these and go up like this. And that'll essentially fill out those blocks that are missing here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. With just a little bit of elbow grease there, we've got this now kind of looking pretty good. There we go. And then this right here is just a little beam that we can go ahead and grab. So we'll go beam, grab the standard one, and we can just fill this out right here. So bring this guy around and make it go directly into there.
Energy critical.
Our energy is critical. We should probably address that at some point. But there we go. I mean, that one's not built up completely, but there we go. We at least have this kind of section of base that had been destroyed by something in a decent state. Let me go back and grab some energy real quick. Now, actually moving back over here, I want to see if I can get this thruster back on, because this is going to be pretty important. So we have this right here, which needs to be repaired. Do we have the stuff? We do. Very nice. Okay. None of this needs... some of that needed to be repaired. But what goes here? I'm thinking it's probably going to end up being... Let's see, how do you connect? Oh, actually, someone told me I can do /BI. Oh, no, okay, /BI conveyor viz. Or /BICN, maybe. Let's try that. So /BICN. Oh, this is cool. Does it work for this one? Oh no, I guess it only works for that one. Wow, okay, so that's part of the build vision mod, and I never knew this was a thing. Or I mean, someone has told me that this was a thing, but I'd never used it before, and I never knew how it looked. This is really amazing. So I can actually see where the conveyors are in this ship. So I know it comes that way, and it turns right there. So I know that probably we're gonna wanna do it the same way here. Let's turn our refinery on, actually. I'm pretty sure if we turn our refinery on, it's gonna start doing scrap metal. Here, let's turn on our yield modules too. There we go, turn those all on. Perfect, so that's gonna start giving us a little bit of iron because that's gonna be working through that scrap metal. What I wanted to see though is that, I don't know what block that is. Okay, so I should be able to do the same thing to turn that off. I think what I'm gonna do then is just come forward with a normal block, starting with here. And then we're gonna do one of these, a conveyor junction, and then something like that. So we'll have those 3 blocks right there. So we'll right click all 3, and let's see if we can build those guys up. Just trying to get the Snowstorm back in a state where it can fly. We're not gonna do a crazy amount of changes to the Snowstorm, I don't think, because if you remember the last series that we did, a lot of changes were done to the Snowstorm. What are you, heavy armor? So if I wanted to try and fit this back where it was, I'm gonna have to get a lot of heavy armor in here, which means we're probably gonna want the help of the barista for all this. Put some heavy armor in right there. And then this, probably heavy armor if no, that's light armor. So in that case, I can just throw a light armor block right there. And then a heavy armor right here. And then right here again is gonna be just heavy armor. Man, okay. I think I'm actually gonna retrofit a little cargo container on here. I don't know, I like putting little cargo containers in places, and it helps me when I need to grab stuff, so I think it's gonna be a good idea. All right, all possible components withdrawn. So there we go. I can now build up our little cargo terminal, as well as that guy, as well as that guy. And then are you able to grab stuff, I wonder? Yeah, okay, perfect. So now I can fill up a couple, or I can repair a couple of these things. So if I right click you, and grab a couple metal grids, grab some more metal grids, even more metal grids. Boom, easy peasy. Okay, so these guys, that one's fully done. That one just needed a couple steel plates. And that one needs some metal grids. So I'll right click that guy, see if I can grab all the metal grids. A couple more. There we go. And so this is probably gonna be, oh yeah, you're heavy armor. Okay, there we go, that one's done. And what about this guy? And yeah, we need a lot of metal grids. I think we have a lot of metal grids though, because every time I go for more, we have them. So I don't know how many we have, but we have a lot. All right, slowly but surely. Again, why am I doing this by hand? This is something that we had on the planet as well. Why am I doing this by hand when we could just go and get the barista and do it with the barista? Although I would have to repair the barista because it's not in a perfect state, but I don't know. Sometimes you just want to do things by hand, I feel like. Sometimes you just, you're just flying around and, let me turn off my signals because they're not helping really. You're just flying around and you want to do things by hand. You don't want to get a barista to help you with your order. You just want to go make your own coffee. You know what I'm saying? And right now we're making our own coffee.
Critical.
Our energy is critical, but we don't care because we're making our own coffee and we're having a good time doing it. All right, all components withdrawn. Perfect. And what that's going to allow us to do after we built all those is get our thruster back in position. So were we using, yeah, okay, we're using not the normal large ones, we're using the fancy ones, I think. You're a fancy one, right? Yeah, the industrial style. All right, so let's go grab some stuff right there. And we'll put that right there. Perfect. All right, there we go. That's a pretty decent setup right there. Let's go ahead and put this in. And now we have 2 thrusters that we need to build up. So we'll right click this one and right click that one and see if we can build these up by hand. Might take a couple trips because these things do require a lot of stuff. Actually, a lot of stuff. Lots of metal grids, lots of large steel tubes. Maybe it's not even worth doing it by hand, but here we are doing it anyway. Yep, almost there. This should be this one. Nope, maybe one more trip. Maybe 2 more trips, I don't know, something like that. Yeah, just a couple more large steel tubes and we'll be there. Well, we don't actually have the large steel tubes on our base, it seems. So we're just gonna do the other one, as far as we can at least. Oh wait, I lied, we do have the large steel tubes on base. Well, I don't know why it grabbed this stuff before it grabbed the other large steel tubes then, but it did. But anyway, 4 more large steel tubes, and here we go. This is gonna be our next thruster right there. So we have our back thrusters, and we have most of the back repaired as well. Now we are missing, some stuff here, obviously. This is light armor, heavy armor. That's light armor, so I'll just put a light armor in here. I'd like to repair that block first. Nope, never mind, no need. Okay, grab a couple of light blocks right there so I can repair this stuff and maybe get this stuff back up and running. There we go. Honestly, that's in a pretty good state. This is weird. Thought I heard someone turn on a jetpack there a second ago. Yeah, do you hear that? Wait, there's a buzz here. Wait, why is there a buzz here? Buzz, where? I don't have a bot spawner, guys. I do not have a bot spawner. I don't know where this buzz came from. Buzz, did you join us on this mission? And if so, where were you hiding the entire time I was, you know, doing this stuff? What? You know, a couple episodes ago, I thought there was a buzz following me, but it turned out to be one of those pirate drones or something, and we ended up using that. But a buzz actually did follow me up here, because I don't think we have a spawner on here. I definitely didn't create it. Maybe the buzz has created it. If I press K over here and go to spawn or bot, I don't know what it's called, bot spawner, bot factory, something like that. Let me grab some more energy so my suit stops yelling at me. But I don't know where that buzz came from. That buzz must have just followed us and like stayed inside or stayed outside or done something. What are you guys, heavy armor? Yeah, okay, so I need to put some heavy armor up here. Well, hey, Buzz, if you want to actually go around and like do stuff, you are absolutely welcome to. I don't know where you came from, but you are here now, so you might as well help out if you're here. Let me go ahead and grab a couple of these things. Can't withdraw 10 computers. Well, I'm sure I can find them right here. And we want to build up this guy up here. Small steel tubes, motors. There we go. New turret, who dis? So a little bit of a... Please don't shoot at anything. Okay. Let's get this guy up as well. All right, perfect. Okay. A good state, I think. I want to get this guy up as well. How much of it's damaged? A lot of it's damaged. I'm gonna go ahead and right click it, and we should be able to grab the blocks over here where we have this little connection. Let's grab everything that we can. This might take a couple trips because these guys usually have a lot of components required. Let's go over here, throw a couple things down right there, and maybe it will be 1 or 2 more trips after this one. All right, there we go. New assault cannon, new dis. Can I build computers? Let me go in here in production and see if I can build computers, because we're missing computers from this ship here. So try and build me like 300 computers. I bet you it can. If the assemblers were on. Let me see. Assembler. They're probably off. Yeah. There we go. The assemblers in the ship are like back there, I think. Hiding over here. They're basically behind this thing. So they're working on getting us some computers, which is good, because then we can get stuff like this built up. Not that that's going to help us at this moment. Oh, you know what? While I still remember, I want to go over here to this base and build up a some sort of container. Okay, and inside this cargo crate, I'm just going to put their messages. So this is the last note, this is beware of surprise, and this is their coming. So we have their messages inside here in a cargo crate, just so that it's kind of still here. You know what? Why are we giving all the love to the Snowstorm? Let's give a little bit of love to this ship right here, the Manta Ray. Let's right click on this and see if we can build this up. There we go. We have a new assault cannon turret on this, so it can defend its own self. And we should probably get some of these up too. Wait, where are your turrets? Oh no, this is the back. On the front. So you are looking fine. You are looking fine. Although you did take a hefty shot right there, it looks like. And then you are looking a little fine. Oh, I was asking why last episode we had a lot of our turrets targeting non-weapons, basically. And there were a couple of answers. Some people said that possibly this was not targeting weapons, but it looks like it is. So I just wanted to check on that. And the other response was that the soldiers usually count as weapons as well. So it's possible our turrets were targeting soldiers inside the Snowstorm, hence why they were like shooting stuff like this. I don't know why they would have been shooting the drill, because they did do a lot of damage to the drill for some reason, unless they were maybe shooting at this guy. I don't know, but yeah, that is how, that's that explanation. Possibly, I mean, I don't know. But they did do a lot of damage to the ship, which was sad. At least we can go ahead and get some of these turrets back up and running. So there's one right there. And then we can get the one that I had seen up here. Maybe this one up and running? Yeah, there we go. So the Snowstorm's slowly coming back together. I should eventually add the W. Look at that, that's the railgun. Imagine if you were sitting right here. Whoops. You might be fine, I don't know. The shot didn't seem to go all the way to the table there. Oh, we have no artificial gravity there. Okay, that's because we turned off our gravity generator on this thing. But yeah, okay. Why am I suddenly access denied on this? There we go. Okay, that was weird. That ship suddenly didn't, or that block suddenly didn't like me anymore. Decided I was the enemy. All right, we're of course gonna have to paint all this stuff, but we're finally getting there. You can see the W is now back in position, which is a good start, right? Let me get this corner block in here, which I believe is what that was, right? I think it should be a corner block. One like this. I don't remember if that's what it was on this side, but we'll do a quick check. It was indeed a corner block, and then we had a couple more blocks out this way. Okay, I'm just trying to maintain the style. Oh, we're out of energy. I need a seat. I need a seat to sit in. Over here. Give me a seat. I need a seat. Holding up for a seat to give me energy. Okay, we don't get a seat. We get one of these. Haha. No, no. Not what I wanted. Okay, that's fine. We get our energy back at least. That's good. Okay. Let's now... Yeah, okay, we're in a pretty good state, I think. This is looking pretty good. The snowstorm is not at its full glory, but it's at, you know, part of it. I think that's a good start. Oh man, this room could really use some work. Wow. Wow, there's a lot more that we need to do for this to be workable, I think. Oh, because you're not sharing inertia tensor. Oh, well, you know what? Boom, you share. You share. And you share. There we go. Well, that fixes a lot of things. Wow. Okay. Yeah, none of these are sharing inertia tensor. I think that's probably because I started the world with share inertia tensor disabled, which is a new option that they added to the game. And so they were all disabled, essentially. Yeah, these dang pirates, man, they added all this random stuff here. I don't know, did this go all the way through? What happened here? Good lord. Okay, no. It didn't go all the way through. It just did a T-junction here, it looks like, and then over to those guys. Okay, that we can do. There we go. Consider them reconnected. Very good. I guess I didn't show you guys in the tour, but if you go all the way out on the sides here, the AMG Snowstorm has these walkways as well. That's one of the other things that the Snowstorm has, which is kind of cool. Little access halls that lets you look into rooms, I guess, if you want to be a creep. But anyway, let's look at this base real quick, because what I want to do is I would really like to, before we end this episode, try and get the manta ray connected somehow so we can have all of our stuff on one grid. And I also want to see as well, are you guys... What are you? Are you guys connected? No. Okay, these are not in any way connected to the base's grid. And I don't know if the base has an actual grid, but let's rectify that so that we don't have to worry about this. So I'm gonna grab this paint, or this normal color right here, and we're going to start by, trying to get some of these in here. So let me make sure this is connected. So this is, actually no, it would be fine because that right there is connected to the bottom. So we should be good. So this right here, let's start by getting all these connected together, and then we'll work from there. We'll look to see what we can do from there. So all these blocks right here, yeah, these should be easy to remove because they have that block right under them. So they're not even gonna be exposed. So we should be good. Now this, on the other hand, might fall, but I don't know. I'm gonna put this in here. All right, a little more on this side, and then kabam. We have that connected all the way that way. It's not connected yet, but we have it like, you know, mined out a little bit. Ah, okay. Forgot there was a hole there. Okay, let's go this way and do the same thing. And then we'll get these all connected with some stuff, and that'll start our grid system. And because we are gonna renovate this base and make it actually functional, having a functional grid system is very important. Okay, so this will go in there. And then we're gonna remove these. And we should be good. Okay, so now we can go ahead and take a curved block. And I'm gonna use our nicer paint as well. Let's just grab this, or let's make it like orange. Why not? Let's use a nice orange paint. Actually, maybe I'll take this yellow here, and we're not gonna use the exact yellow, but we're gonna use an oranger version of that yellow so that we have all of our connectors as orange, because orange is a very nice utility color. Okay, so coming over this way, we're gonna start with this one right here. Let's go ahead and right click that, see if we can grab that stuff from here, which I am not surprised we can't. That's not even the one that's connected to the ship. That would be why. Okay, there we go. We're able to grab that one. And next up, little by little, we're going to add these. Actually, a lot by a lot at the start here, because we can see all these. So we're gonna go ahead and add all these up to here, and then we'll add a T-junction right here. Boom, there we go. Start with the T-junction, right click that. And we know we're gonna want another T-junction right there. So let's just go ahead and put that in while we're at it. All right, perfect. Let's get our straight blocks all the way over here. And then straight blocks again all the way over here. All right, this is gonna take a little bit of doing, but once these are connected, this will be a nice start to our effort to connect the entire base. Now it's gonna take more work than this, but having these connected is good, because then what we'll be able to do is find the middle block and basically bring it down and connect it to the rest of the base. I think there is some connection in this base. I'm not 100% sure. Actually, maybe there isn't. I really don't know. But we'll get it connected because we want this to be a functional base. And what says functional more than connected? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, Mambo number 5. I'll tell you what, one of the problems with space is that it drains your energy so quickly, because you got to use that energy to stay warm and to keep oxygen flowing. That's why you'll notice that in the bottom right it says freeze. That's one of the problems, right? Is that we're very cold. Okay, that's now connected. So that's one side. Let's get these connected. This kind of is a shorter path than the others, but it's important nonetheless. Let's grab some of these blocks and keep going here. And I kind of like having these cargo things around, but I think what we might do is we might drain the items and put them inside normal containers, because they're just more convenient in normal containers. All right, there we go. There's that. And then let's go ahead and right click these guys and build them. All right, that should be it right there. That's all the connections done right here, which means now we will have a very easy time actually working with this stuff. So let's grab this paint here. Not quite ready to paint the entire base. We're just gonna fill up these blocks right where they were. There we go, nice and normal. The E, let's grab the E real quick and let's put the E back up there. That'd be a good idea. There we go, throw it right back up there, give it a nice new coat of paint, and there we go, we have a nice E. The other ones need, here, let's give them a coat of paint as well. Trade, or I guess painting is probably the last thing we should do, but we'll just paint those for now. Very nice. All right, and I think what I wanna do now is, I think we're gonna take the Snowstorm and move it down just a tiny bit. We're gonna move it down, well, we can't really move it down a tiny bit, can we? Oh, no, I don't think we're gonna do that actually. I take that back. You know what, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna extend the dock so we have a little bit more space to add another ship. I don't think that would be too difficult. We can just take this and go out another little bit. Oh man, I absolutely dismantled our Speevel there, I think. We bumped into that little block right there, and the Speevel has unfortunately caught on fire. All of these are damaged, oh my lord. Okay, we'll fix that in a second. Let me get this done though. All right, there we go. Just a tiny little expansion for this little area right here, and we'll have just a little bit more room on the dock, as well as some areas we can put these things. So let's get these blocks built up here. Shouldn't take too long. I don't know what that sound was. Didn't sound very nice though. What's that red signal? Okay, that's the ice heater. We should probably eventually go and conquer that again, but let's get these built up. All right, there's one of the connection points right there. So I think our next step is gonna be adding a cargo container there. And I'm actually gonna do the cargo terminal, I think, just for looksies. So let's do that. Cargo terminal right there, going that way. And we'll continue this way to see if we can get some of these done. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that'll be just steel plates right there. Let's see if we can get those. All right, just a couple more and we should be there. So here's one more right there. And we're out of the range of the gravity generator, by the way, so things are a little weird over here. But let's get another one of these on here. I'll toss that right there. Right click that guy. Let's get it right here. Just a couple small steel tubes. No, we actually don't actually have the small steel tubes. Okay, let's get them built up then in that case. It's trying to build them. Why is it trying to build them? I guess we eventually added those somehow, but there we go. We've got small steel tubes, perfect. So now all we need to do to connect these, I'm gonna use the white color for this, I think, is add one of those guys. Actually, I do really like the color that he has, so let me steal their color and make it a nice clean armor. And I'm gonna paint all these that color, because that's a nicer color, I think, than the orange that I'm using. All right, there's our two new connections right there. So let's go ahead and add on our pistons here. And this base uses square pistons, not the normal pistons. So I'm gonna go ahead and add square pistons onto this guy. So we'll put one right there, and then on the end of these square pistons, I'm pretty sure it's just a connector with the other connection thing on the top. So let's go ahead and do that as well. We'll do our connector facing, that's a small connector. We'll do our connector facing this way. So there's one right there. And we'll do the other one right here. Okay, so let's get these guys built up, and that should provide us a pretty decent way to connect to the ship right here. We can either use either of those, actually. And I probably do want to use the one farther away from the snowstorm so I don't blast the ship if I try and take off. Let's go ahead and right-click these. We should be able to get all this built up, hopefully. There we go. We're still missing a couple large steel tubes. Let me go over here real quick and grab some stuff from this ship here. Because this ship has a lot of stuff. The manta ray, we brought so many materials from our base that we have anything we could ask for, really. I'll try and get things from here first. But in the event that I don't have everything that I need, we can rely on the manta ray right here. Hey, Buzz. Oh, it looks like Buzz is actually doing stuff. Maybe Buzz will repair our damaged Speevel that we broke. All right, there we go. Now let's make sure to give this a little bit of distance here. So let's go velocity up, and I think probably that will be okay. We want to give it that distance because we have the Speevel on the back of this, so we do need a little bit of space. So let's get inside the ship, and let's move this into position. So inside the ship here, I want to go into third person. We're going to go out a little bit, and we're going to connect it, I think, to this one right here. Still a little close to the snowstorm. We could even go further if we wanted to, but I think it'll be fine. And hopefully our turrets there, we have a turret right there. Hopefully those don't get stuck on the base. Actually, how close are those? Ooh, those are a little close. I think I'm gonna have to move the arm a little bit further out. We could even go max distance if we wanted to. This is actually probably even almost max distance. No, this is only 6, okay. We'll go further. And it's actually pushing the ship. That's probably fine. We'll go 8.58. Surprised those aren't connecting, but it's okay. We can move it into position here. I'll tell you what, these little guys can be real finicky. Those are basically on top of each other, right? I would think so, but I mean, that is on it basically, right? Okay, let's go diagnose. What's going on over here, guys? Are you damaged? First of all, are any of you damaged? No, none of you are damaged. So are you off? Are you off? Let's turn you off and then on. Let's turn you used for parking on. Switch lock? Locked. Okay. That's weird. It never told me. Oh, you know why? Oh, that's dumb. Hang on. The reason it never told me that I was able to park is because I was looking at the one that's connected to the cockpit. And the one that's connected to the cockpit is looking at this guy right here, not these. So it was looking at a different one all along. Whoa, what the heck? What was that? Buzz, what did you do? Buzz is causing a laser light show in there. I don't know what Buzz is doing. Buzz might have dropped the barista, actually, if I had to guess. No, the barista's looking fine, so I don't know what Buzz did. Is this a railgun shell? Oh my lord. I think it's a railgun coming up this way. And then maybe up here, even? I don't know, that does kind of track. This guy I do need to, like, hack, though, so let's go ahead and do that. There we go. That's now ours. Hey, okay, what's going on out there? Yo! Yo, what the heck? Chill! What's going on with you? Oh my god, okay, Manta Ray's trying to fight back. Let's go here, press Z. Turn off those dampeners, good lord. Manta Ray, what were you doing? That's what happens if you keep your dampeners on, I guess. All right, while we're here, I suppose I can maybe fix up some of this stuff that I caused. So let's go ahead and grab this and repair this stuff. I think the cockpit's fine. It's just gonna be these thrusters. We have thruster components that are out, unfortunately. Did we bring any? Apparently so. And I'm lucky we did, because we'll need them. Oh, that's fixed, and we still have some broken stuff over here. Yeah, I don't know how all of our thrusters broke. Like, every single thruster got damaged. I don't know, did you guys? No, you guys didn't. Okay, so not all of them. All right, I think, yep, I'm gonna go ahead and declare the ship fit for service again. And we're good, okay. I'm sorry about that, Speevel. It won't happen again, most likely. All right, this is looking pretty good. We need to add more lights here, of course, but we now have the manta ray connected. We've got the AMG Snowstorm connected. We've got all this stuff connected right here. We still need to do some more connections to connect it up to our power over there to form this into a refuel station. But I think we're well on our way to lifting this lockdown and getting this as a base that we can be proud of. And maybe we can hand off to NPCs to start selling stuff. I could maybe find a way to convert it into a trade station or something like that. I think that'd be pretty cool. Maybe a little bit of off-camera work will be done for here, doing a little bit of repainting, maybe trying to get some more lights thrown in. But I think this is a pretty good start. We're gonna postpone our going to the stars just a little bit so that we can repair the Snowstorm, because a lot of you guys want to see us take that out. So we'll probably take an episode or two to go around here, fix some stuff up, and then after that, we'll take the Snowstorm. We'll head for the stars. We'll leave the manta ray behind for a little while, and we'll see what the world has to offer us. But yeah, I think that's where we're gonna end this episode. Just falling off in that 2.0 gravity. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. A little bit of a chill episode after the last two, especially. So I hope you didn't get whiplash on the going from pure combat to just kind of a chill thing. Okay, I keep forgetting about the 2 gravity as I try and jump to that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. If you did, please go ahead and leave a like. If you're not subscribed yet and you're watching episode number 38, let me put that into perspective. That's 38 45-minute episodes that you've watched. I thank you for being here, but you should definitely subscribe if you're this far into the series, you know? You don't have to, but like, you could. I mean, the button's right down there. I'm looking at it right now. Like, I see it. It says subscribe, or it says something in a different language if you're in a different language. But anyways, if you'd like to go further than that, become a YouTube member or a patron, there are links below in the description down there. You'll get your name in the end credits, you'll get early access to videos, and you might even get a shout out for some of the tiers. And the people we're gonna shout out in this episode, in addition to all the people who fell on this base in our memorial, are going to be Queen Danny, Colin Graves, and Stellaris Ignis. Thank you very much for your support, and thanks to everybody who's watching these for your support as well. I will see you all in the next episode of Space Engineers Survival.